children up for success at home and school, it's important that we understand how they learn. This video will outline the fundamental skills that your child needs for success both at home and at school. It explains in simple terms how having or not having this information will impact their learning not only in the classroom, but also their physical, social and emotional well-being. Let's start by looking at how our brain develops. When a child is born, they already have more neurons in their brain than they're ever going to need. During the first 6 to 7 years of life, these neurons form pathways. Over time, these pathways get stronger and stronger. This enables them to do things faster and more effectively. For example, as a child learns to walk, initially they stumble and fall. Over time, they become more agile. They're able to walk around objects, step over things, and even run. Strong pathways can be likened to open freeways. These pathways only develop through exposure and repetition. Pathways that are used less frequently look more like goat tracks. And when you're travelling on a goat track, you can't move as fast as you can on a freeway. An example of this is playing golf. If you haven't played in a while, you won't just pick up a club and be as good as Tiger Woods, because the neural pathways for that skill aren't nearly as strong. To ensure our brain is as efficient as possible, it starts to prune away the neurons and pathways that aren't being used. We call this use it or lose it. This is incredibly important for parents to know. Your child will only retain and strengthen the neural pathways for the activities that they are exposed to. For example, if your child is not exposed to reading, then over time the pathway for that skill will not grow strong. This is why it's harder for adults to learn a new skill like reading or writing than it is for a child. The key to creating success for your child is to develop healthy routines and habits early. Daily habits ensure that the pathways that you want to strengthen are getting regular exposure and repetition. By activating these every day, over time, your children will become more skilled and stronger. These skills will become second nature to your child. Now that you understand the importance of healthy habits, let's discuss what some of the beneficial experiences for them will be. This image represents our central nervous system. The coloured squares represent building blocks. You'll notice at the top of the pyramid there are some yellow blocks or squares. The very top block depicts academic learning. So this is things like reading and writing skills. Just underneath that, there's language development, behaviour, attention and concentration, and self-care skills. By age 6, children are generally functioning well in these areas, and they're ready for higher academic learning. What's important for you to know though, is that the purple blocks at the bottom of the pyramid form the foundation. These are the skills for which everything else relies on. Hence it's important that children develop strong skills in this area, as this sets them up for success in all other areas of their learning. So what does this mean for parents? Rather than focusing on spelling, reading or handwriting, instead focus on core skills, the ones at the bottom of the pyramid. When you focus on the skills at the top, you may have success, but if the child doesn't have a strong foundation, they won't be able to transfer that new skill to other similar skills. For example, you might teach them how to read a book, but they won't be able to generalise that skill from that book to the next book they read. Or they may develop a great pencil grip, but they won't be able to keep up with the other students because they don't have enough core strength to hold themselves in the chair. If you're a parent or teacher, the skills you should focus on are the skills at the base of the pyramid, the 2 internal senses. These senses start to develop from the time of conception and are really important in creating happy and healthy kids. There are lots of different reasons why these senses don't develop well for all children. Things like premature birth, prolonged hospitalisation, neglect, trauma, or chronic medical conditions such as ear infections can cause major problems with the development of these senses. Let's look a bit closer at each. The vestibular system. This sense is often referred to as our balance sense, or our gravity sense. It helps us to know where our body is in space, if we are moving or standing still, if we are upright or upside down. When this sense isn't working properly, we tend to see the following difficulties: poor balance, poor core strength, low muscle tone, high anxiety, lots of fears, difficulty going up and down stairs across uneven surfaces or being picked up, dislike of swimming, toe walking, trouble with reading, poor hand-eye coordination, and overexcitement or difficulty calming down after movement or when outside. Exposing children to lots of vestibular input throughout the day helps to ensure that this system is working well. For more information about the vestibular system and how it works, check out our website. It is recommended that you have your child reviewed by a GP before commencing vestibular activities, as if they have an ear infection or epilepsy, vestibular activities are not recommended. If your child feels unwell or becomes very silly after vestibular activities, it is recommended that you have an appointment with an occupational therapist. They will help you to better understand what is happening for your child and work with you to implement a more gradual program. Some great vestibular activities include swimming, riding a bike, roughhousing, jumping on a trampoline, somersaults, spinning, swinging, slides, zip lines, or flying foxes. There are more great ideas on our website. Proprioception, often referred to as our body awareness sense. It gives our brain feedback about where our body is in relation to itself and other things. Children with poor proprioception tend to be very clumsy. They're too rough, they break things easily, bump into things, and find sitting still in class, concentrating, reading and writing difficult. If you've ever tried to put on earrings or done up a button while wearing rubber gloves, this is a little bit like what it feels like for someone with poor proprioception. Children with poor proprioception need more intense input into their muscles and joints than most people do, so that their brain can sense what's happening and respond appropriately. When you incorporate these activities into your daily routine, you'll see huge improvements in your child's learning and development. Growing happy, healthy and confident kids means ensuring that they're exposed to a range of movement and sensory experiences every day. This can begin from the time that they're born. For more information on what to expect at each stage of your child's development, you can check out our website.